If you're watching this video, you're either about to install Windows 11 or you're having problems installing Windows 11. So I'm going to walk through how to install it. I'm going to give you various options for bypassing some of the Windows 11 requirements, such as RAM requirements of more than 4 gig, secure boot requirements, TPM requirements. So I'm going to provide you with all options to bypass any of that stuff. Now, as I'm installing this, it's not going to ask me for a product key. This system has already had Windows 10 on it before, and the way Windows works, the new versions of Windows, is they'll remember the key from the BIOS. So yeah, this isn't a how to obtain Windows for free. It's a video on how to install it if you're struggling. So the license requirements is completely on you. If you need to, go out, buy one. But this video is going to walk you through getting installed and up and running. Before we get started with the installation procedure, this video is pretty much split into two parts. One part is using the Windows Media Creation tool to burn Windows to a USB and install it efficiently. We will give you a couple of options to bypass some of the requirements during the install. The second part is using a tool called Rufus to burn the ISO to a USB. Installing it using Rufus will give you plenty of options to automatically add the account, set the privacy options, and remove any of the requirements. So that's the way I would recommend that you do it. I did have an issue actually doing this install because I'm using PF Blocker and PFSense, and it blocks Microsoft telemetry. Microsoft wouldn't actually allow me to download the ISO. So we temporarily had to switch to Google's server to download the ISO and then switch back. But anyway, let's get on with it. The first thing obviously we need to do is to get our hands on the ISO. So go ahead and Google it. So head across to Microsoft website. There's a couple of options that you can choose. You can use the tool from Microsoft to create the installation media. I can just download the ISO, which is what we'll do. Select the language and confirm. Okay. This error can be a pain. I'm guessing it's because I've got some kind of DNS blocking going. So I'm just going to go into my network properties. I'm going to just change my DNS to Google for a second. And go ahead and refresh the page. Let's try this again. And now we're good. So because I was using DNS blocking software, mainly PF Blocker and PFSense, it's got Windows telemetry services blocked and things, so it wouldn't let me download it. So I just set the DNS service to 8.8.8.8 to bypass my DNS blocking, which would allow Microsoft to track where I am, I guess. So now we'll go ahead and download that. Okay, once that's downloaded, in fact, I'm going to change my DNS servers back. Once that's downloaded, I'm going to use a tool called Rufus. It's just rufus.ie. So I'm using the latest version 4.3. I already have it, so I'm just showing you where you can get it from. Once you've downloaded Rufus to burn it, you're going to need to select the image file. So go ahead and select it. Oh, there it is. So select the device where you're going to be installing it to. And we can just leave that. Standard Windows installation. And we can just leave this as it is. and then we can select start. Now, one thing about using Rufus to burn the ISO is it gives you various options to customize a Windows installation. So you can remove the requirement of 4 gig plus RAM, secure boot and TPM. Remove the requirement for an online account. Create a local account. Set the regional options to the same value as this user. Disable data collection to skip the privacy questions. You can disable BitLocker if you want. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a local account with that name. Yes, I'm aware the data will be destroyed on the flash drive. That's fine. The reason I was using Rufus in the first place, as opposed to the Windows media creation tool, is because I had Linux on the flash drive and Windows couldn't see it. And as a result, the Microsoft media creation tool couldn't see the flash drive either. So if you use Rufus, it's just a lot easier. So Rufus has finished burning. It's now applying the Windows customization, just making the changes for us. Okay, that's finished. So now we can close that. I'm going to grab my USB media, insert it. So let's switch over to the computer that I'm installing it on. Okay, what you are going to want to do first is check your BIOS settings. If you didn't skip the TPM or any of the other requirements within Rufus, you want to make sure that obviously this has enough memory. It's a 10th Gen i5, so it will absolutely take Windows 11. If we go over to the security tab, you need to, your BIOS is going to be different. So this is a HP mini PC, but you're going to need to check that your TPM is enabled if you didn't bypass it. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot. Now I'm going to select, it does already have Windows 10 on this, I think. So at boot up, I'm going to pull my boot menu up and select the right drive. I want my boot menu. I'm going to boot off the Kingston that we've just installed. We can go ahead and select next here. Install now. Accept the end user license agreement. Usually, unless you're upgrading an existing version of Windows, you'll now want to select the custom install. As you can see, this already has partitions on it. So let's say it has Windows 10 on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. Now I'm not going to need a product key for this because it's already had Windows on it. We're installed, so now we're going to restart. And remove the media. So I'm going to choose I don't have internet here. Continue with limited setup. We already have our support user created. So that's about the easiest way I can possibly think of to install Windows. At Windows 11, you really don't need to mess about with anything. Don't need to manually run through the setup. You don't need to skip the privacy settings and stuff where you don't allow ads and no personalized stuff. So that's Windows 11 installed. This time, we're going to do it the official way, I suppose, and download the create the installation media. So when you run the media creation tool, this is basically what you'll get. I have to accept the end user license agreement. This time I'm going to use the USB flash drive. Now this is the same process, but with Rufus, you can untick any of the customization options. This will give you the official ISO as such. So we'll just go ahead and let this finish. Once it's downloaded the ISO, it's going to verify it. Okay, your USB flash drive is ready. That was painful and like watching paint dry. So now we can go ahead, remove the media, just eject it. So you'll want to go into the BIOS to select your boot drive if you've already got an operating system on it. This does. So there are some requirements. This being a 10th Gen i5 with 16 gig of RAM, it's more than good enough to run Windows. Go to security and check the TPM. It's set to 2.0 and available, so it is. This time I'm going to go boot menu. Oop, wrong one. And make sure you select the USB drive. Right. Sort my stuff out. So in English United Kingdom, or select your correct regional settings. Install now. If for whatever reason your computer doesn't support the TPM or the memory requirements or the secure boot requirements, there is a way around that. If you press Shift F10, it'll give you a command prompt. You can go regedit. Even if it comes up saying your PC doesn't support Windows, at that point you can do Shift F10 and go into regedit. And if we're going to local machine, system, setup, here we need to, you don't have to do this unless you want to work around any of the requirements. We just do new key, and this is going to be lab config. So within the lab config key, we can do new keyword that value 32-bit. We can put bypass TPM check. I'll leave these in the comments. I'll link to them. So do bypass TPM check if you need to. Obviously, if yours has a TPM 2.0, you don't need to do this. We can set the value to 1. If for whatever reason you need to bypass the secure boot check and the RAM check, again we can do new keyword 32-bit, and we can do bypass RAM check, set that to 1. So that'll bypass the RAM. The secure boot one is bypass secure boot check. We can go ahead and set that to 1. So using Rufus is a much easier way than manually editing things. Type exit. So that's, you only need to do that if your system doesn't meet any of the requirements. So go ahead and select the EULA. Customized install unless you're doing an upgrade. I'm not covering upgrades in this video. So this system already has a version of Windows on it. So I'm going to delete the partitions. Next, it's going to go ahead and copy all the required files, remove the media, now we need to follow the steps through the setup wizard. And so select your region, keyboard layout, skip adding more layouts unless you want to add multiple ones. So let's connect you to a network. I don't want to connect to a network, so if you do, you can connect yourself to a network there. What I'm going to do is our trusty Shift F10. And I'm going to type OOBE for out of box experience. And then, do that again. OOBE backslash bypass NRO. So just type by and then press tab, it'll auto complete it. And the system is going to restart at this stage. You'll notice then it didn't give us the option to continue without connecting the network. So I'm just showing you how you can install it. Businesses, not every PC needs to be connected to the internet. So now the setup wizard had started again. So yes, you'll have to select the country or region again. Yep. Skip. Now you notice this time we have the option I don't have internet, which wasn't there last time. Don't know why Microsoft just didn't do that in the first place. So continue with limited setup. Whatever name that you're gonna use. Put a password in if you want. So the privacy settings. Let Microsoft apps use your location. Absolutely not. Ban my device. Absolutely not. Set that to required only. Include optional. Nope, absolutely not. Improve ink and typing. Nope. You're not learning anything. Get tailored experiences. Again, no. Let apps use advertising ID. No. How many times do you have to be told, Windows? that's the official way to install it. Without the registry hacks. Obviously you don't need to do them if your machine's fully compliant. It's much easier to use the tool called Rufus. Rufus will allow you to, from burning the ISO, it'll just allow you to put all the options in to skip all that crap. And now we have Windows 11 fully installed from a fresh install. So the next bit to do would obviously go and check for updates. I've not got an internet connection plugged into this, so I'm going to skip that part. I'm sure you can manage to do Windows updates. If not, type Windows updates in that search box and it'll do it for you. If you wanted a quick walkthrough of how to install Windows beforehand, I hope this video helps. You can use the various options provided in this video to bypass internet connection requirements, RAM requirements, the TPM requirements, and the secure boot requirements. I've watched a lot of videos on installing Windows 11. I wasn't really planning on covering it, but a lot of people make it much harder than it is. The long and short of it, use Rufus to do the install. It'll allow you to choose the options that you want, and you can take it from there. So if you found this video useful, please hit that like button. It really does help the channel, gaining more viewers. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications icon if you'd like to follow any more videos that I'm about to do. We'll see you in the next one.